So welcome to another unboxing video from theplayersaid.com. My name's Alexander, and today we're taking a look at something a little bit special. This is War and Peace by One Small Step. And this is a game that's designed by Mark G. McLaughlin, and it's one of those games that it was an older title, it was reworked, and then they reworked the rework, and there's been a lot of stuff going on about this one recently. So this one is the One Small Step 2020 edition. So it's a game that is interesting to me from a conceptual standpoint. Some of the things I've heard about it have been a mixed bag. Some people really like it. Some people say the campaign needs a little bit of massaging. But I know that they've worked on it in development, and there's a lot of stuff going on as well, like aftermarket on BGG and things like that. So I believe in this box there's a good chunk of extremely playable wargame in here. But this is a big Napoleonic Wars game. It comes in, I believe this is a 3-inch box, and this is extremely heavy. This is a couple pounds at least, maybe 3 or 4. Because it's got 2 fully mounted maps in here, a bunch of counters. Now, we got this second hand. This is like partially punched. So it's not exactly what you're going to get. Most of it is, but we'll kind of go through and show you what you get if there's something that you might be interested in. So, P.S. Love the cover artwork on it. It's just a great, it's a great portrait, and I don't know, it carries a lot of what Napoleon thought was going to happen versus what did. So, what we're looking at in the box, again, so you got 2d6, these nice little, very large pips on them. I like that. That way I can just, doesn't matter how big my table is, I can see what I've rolled. I don't know if it comes with a bunch of bags. It might do, but we have some of the punched counters that were punched prior to us getting this, but it's only a few. So, alright, let's grab the counter sheets, of which there are 4, seemingly. And so on here, it looks like we have Spanish troops, British troops, Royal Navy, Royal Marines, potentially. Oh, those are Spanish, maybe. Looks like we might have some Poles up here also. Austrians, Swiss, and then we have Prussians, I believe. A whole bunch of Prussians, and these are very small counters. These are like the smallest ones you'll play with. And we'll flip those over. They are dual-sided. Almost all of those are. And I'm trying to be really careful with this because I feel like they're gonna really fall out of here. Maybe they won't, but I also don't want to have to sort these on the fly. I want to be careful with how I sort these. So on this page we've got the Russians, some Swedes, Spaniards. So who was that over there? I don't know who that was. Who knows what I was talking about over there. Turks, again, dual-sided. A little bit of a Spanish fleet as well. Very small Turkish one. Very small Russian one. Okay. I believe we've got... Are these Habsburgs? I don't know if that existed. Or Austrians. I'm not quite sure. Before I put I don't remember what these ones are. But a whole bunch of Frenches. Massive French Navy, bunch of French cav. And then down here it looks like we've got a bunch of allies. We've got Denmark, Netherlands, is this maybe some Hungarians as well? It's very small, it's kind of hard to see upside down. We got all of those. And then this is the partial counter sheet from which these were punched. So we have some French leaders, but then we have a bunch of different admin markers down here as well. Probably for various tracks. So that's kind of what we're looking at for the counters. That's a lot of counters. It is, because those are the small ones as well. So it's not just 4 sheets, it's 4 sheets of small counters. A lot of bags, but this might be Yeah. My little box is split, not a big deal. This has shipped halfway across the world, so I'm just happy it got to us. Alright, so we've got some cardboard in here. Let's see how much cardboard we got. Alright, those are the magic maps. We'll take a look at those in a second. Rules of play. So we're looking at, what, 18, 20 pages? 20 pages? Nah, 18 pages at most. Which is nice for a big game like this. Full color, semi-gloss paper. That's pretty dense text a lot of the time, but interspersed with some diagrams and examples, which we appreciate. And this is a hex and counter game. A lot of games at this scale are not hex and counter. We got a lot of counters, but a lot of them are kind of area moves or just large grand strategic games. So, then we have the scenario book, and this is for the standard game, as opposed to the grand campaign, I believe. So there's a bunch of different scenarios. So yeah, this is like a massive 2-mapper mounted one. But if you wanted to, you could play this just as smaller scenarios, different periods, campaigns, smaller battles, things like that. Then again, remembering the scale is pretty significant. So you're looking at like, one of the scenarios is like the Russian campaign, where you've already, Napoleon's already marched across the entirety of Europe, and he's just like charging into Russia, hoping for the best, basically. And those all have setups, victory conditions, and special rules. So we have the grand campaign, and this is the thing that people used to complain about. Now, I believe that it's been reasonably sorted out, but it's all hearsay. I don't know. I hesitate to mention that at all, frankly, because I don't know, because I haven't played it myself. 2-player game and solo play. So there is a solo option for this, I guess, which is also nice, because I know a lot of people play these games solo out there. There's pretty dense text for our campaign rules and things like that. So if you want to play the full campaign over the course of a long time, have that set up on your table, go for it. Operational methods. The sequel to War and Peace. Interesting. I wonder if that's like optional rules. Interesting. Not quite sure about that one. French Allies leader display. So I don't know if you have your leader and then you have like their troops that they're under, so you don't have a ton of stacks on the board. That'd be fairly nice if that was the case. Allies leader display is a fold out. A lot of people in this one joining forces to defeat Napoleon. And these are glossy, which they kind of slide around a little bit. I might be putting those underneath something to keep them safe. Then we have the French Alliance leader display. Is that the same as this one? Yes, sorry. This is this is the French Allies. This is the French Alliance. So this is the Frenches. This is all the people fighting alongside the Frenches. Nice. And then we have our force pool display. So you've got your holding box for the forces you have, any prisoners you've taken, if Napoleon's in exile, and then it looks like your production over the course of turns is kind of listed here as well. So that's a lot of table creep. You're probably gonna need a good chunk of space for this one if you're gonna play the full campaign. And then we have this singular, there's only one of these that I can tell, trifold play aid. This is very big. Could use this as a Dungeon Master screen if you went to role playing. But all our charts and tables, naval rules, terrain effects, CRTs, everything that you would expect. Expanded sequence of play, which unfortunately doesn't have references to the rulebook, which is a shame. Campaign sequence of play, optional grand campaign rule set table. Basically, this is your play aid that you're going to be using. Alright, let's take a look at the maps. And then I'm going to take this box out, because she's come a long way. We need to get it fixed. Alright, so do they label these easily? No, we'll start with this one. And again, these are fully mounted. Alright. So this is we'll just call this one the first map. This is Western Europe. So we got Portugal, Spain, France, England, with a nice little box here for United States at war. So I guess we're talking War of 1812, and we're going to have to funnel guys over there. probably. Holy Roman Empire. It was the Holy Roman Empire. I knew it. So yeah, we've but basically you can see hex encounter, which is nice, hex overlay. But you've got, you know, kind of regular terrain. We got some forests, probably hills and mountains. So there is terrain in here as well. Heavy forests over here in the Metz and Ardennes. And then all of the ports have holding boxes. And the countries are divided up with these red dotted lines. And there's some, you know, really small principalities and things like that in Germany because they weren't united yet. But, you know, it is what it is. Alright. And what's interesting is that there's two layers of delineation. So we've got this, I don't know if you can see this well, but there's a blue outline all the way around France. There's a yellow outline all the way around Spain. And then for the, well, the other countries don't have that. But there's a green one down here, which I presume is all for the Kingdom of Italy. Like there's this green line that goes around, that's all theirs. I don't know if that's true, or what, I don't know, I could be wrong about that. But there's countries, and then there's within that smaller territories within probably alliances that you're playing together. At the top of this, there's a lot of tracks and tables. Turn record track, production track, the turn record month track. So you're going to play each year, and each year has all the months in it, and you're going to play all of them. Little combats going on, weather charts, alliance display, naval economic warfare. Yeah, that's a lot of stuff to keep track of. Well, we'll keep this out for now, and then we'll get the other one out. So then we've got kind of the eastern map. He says the eastern map has an invasions display. That's always fun. And then we do have some small inlays. The first one for the Eastern Med, which is if they're gonna. So we'll have Battle of the Nile and all that, which will be fun. Then we also have this inlay, which is a global map. So there's global naval movement. Interesting. But then the rest of it, you can kind of see it joins on here, and it's the rest of Italy, Austria, Prussia, and a massive chunk of it's Russia as well. But it's all the same stuff that continues. There's no other charts on here, but there's a couple inlays in the invasion charts down here, and there's an Ottoman Empire at War Box 2, which compares to that United States at War Box on the other side. But this is the map. It's pretty huge. Like, I've got a reasonably large single table. That takes up most of it. I could put out the holding boxes. I don't know if I could put out all of them, and it takes up literally all the space that I have. So you will need, if you want to play the big game, you're going to need a lot of space for it. Just putting that out there for you. So it is extremely well produced, I will say that. You know, the cardstock on the blades is very thick and glossy. The counters are on a thick grey core, which is nice. Even though they're small, they're printed nicely. The pictures are nice. The maps are lovely. Those are great to look at. And those big dice were nice as well. So, with all that being said, appreciate you guys very much for tuning in. This is a game we will get to eventually, or I might set up solo. This is War and Peace from Mark McLaughlin and One Small Step. This is the 2020 version. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I've been Alexander from theplayersaid.com.